Thank you, Mahmoud. Just about a month ago, I had the chance and the privilege to attend the inaugural meeting of the WHO Youth Council. This is a mechanism that IFMSA has fiercely pushed for and advocated for since 2017, and have been leaders in its design and its implementation, and continue to be leaders in its development. The attendance of this meeting, sitting at the front seats, interacting directly with the WHO Director General, with WHO senior officials, and also with member states at some point, was a very stark reminder of the power that IFMSA holds in shaping the world of global health, in leading, and in showing the role and the value of meaningful youth engagement. That was a very strong push and motivation for me to come to here or to present to you today, or a couple of days ago, my candidature and my vision for the federation itself, for changing the federation and for continuing this leadership towards meaningful engagement and meaningful leadership as well in the scope of global health and on behalf of medical students. Over and back to you, Mahmoud.
Okay, thank you, Mahmoud. And then we have the candidates for Vice President for Activities, and we'll start with Mikuláš Patalong from IFMSA Poland.
Okay, hello again, everyone. Good morning. I hope you did enjoy the cultural night yesterday. I actually did not, because I prioritized sleeping before the debates. And I think that in a position like VPA, in every EB position, prioritization is key, just like making yourself available. And in my candidature, I focused on 3 pillars, which was my experience, my plan of action, and my plan for availability. So if any of you wants to ask any questions about it, I'll be very happy to welcome any such questions. And yeah, thank you for attending the debate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikuláš. And then we have Fresh Tibageri from IMSA Iran.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Okay. Hello, everyone. I think with lots of duties going on, lots of us are in survival mode, and I'm so happy that I'm seeing lots of you here, and you are passionate about the future of IFMSA and what's going to happen. So I hope this debate also help you to make your decision better. So yep, and I think each one of us, if we get the position at the end of the day, IFMSA is the winner. Thank you.
Thank you. And then for the candidates for VPCB, first Hannah.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Hannah again. I'm from Croatia, Croatia, and I'm really happy to be standing here, coming from such a small country, small background. And it's funny how things work, because just a year ago, and I was reminded of that yesterday when my friend posted a story from Macedonia, and it was two of us tired watching EB debate, and I had zero idea that today I will be the one presenting my candidature and participating in this EB debate. So yeah, I'm just really happy to experience this, and I'm really looking forward to hearing your questions and answering them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. Asadur Rahman.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm Asadur Rahman from BMSS Bangladesh. My journey started in my NMO, where I was a very small person. That time I didn't know a lot. We were having a fundraiser for underprivileged children. After a few days, some of the random children came running when I was walking on the streets. They were like, "Hey, do you remember me? You were there. You were helping us." That was the time I decided, yes, I need to do something for them. And that is when I started my journey in my NMO. That inspired me. And after that, 5 years have passed. After a lot of capacity building, a lot of amazing journeys passed by. Today, I'm here presenting myself as a candidate for IFMSA Vice President for Capacity Building. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really happy to answer all of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we go with Melika.
Okay, hello everyone, good morning. My name is Melike. It's really a pleasure for me to sit in front of all of you here for an EB debate. My journey in FMSA started 4 years ago, and after that I was involved in CB, and I could have never imagined that I will be sitting and running for such a important position in one of the hugest students organization. I will be really grateful to answer all of yours question, and thank you.
Thank you. And then for the position of the Vice President for Finance, we have Joanna from IFMSA Poland.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our AB debate. I'm really happy to be here. And after 5 years in IFMS, I wouldn't imagine that I would be sitting here today. And I'm really happy to answer your question. And I'm really grateful for the chance which was given to me to sit and present my candidature today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. For the candidates for Vice President for members, we have Zoe from BIMSA Belgium.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm very happy to see so many of you, even after Cultural Night. Thank you so much for showing up. I really enjoyed all your performances last night. I'm very excited to hear questions and answer them. And I want to wish all the candidates best of luck. You're gonna do great. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have Angelo. Angelo, are you with us?
Yeah, can you confirm me that you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, hi everyone. Hi from the other side of the world. It's 2 a.m. here in Ecuador, so it's always happy. I'm always happy here to be here. My name is Angelo Moreno. I'm from Ecuador. I am in the Americas now, and this will be a great experience for all of us. First of all, congrats to all the candidates for the efforts put on their candidature. And it will be great. It will be great. It's a little bit late here. And sorry, I'm a little bit late too. But I'm happy to answer your questions. Yeah.
Thank you. And then for the position for the Vice President for Public Relations and Communication, first we'll go with Ana Maria from FASMA Romania.
Good morning, everyone. I was actually reflecting yesterday on my journey. A couple of months ago, I was running for Scorp Director. I couldn't believe back then that my journey in IFMSA would continue, but here I am once again running right now for IFMSA Vice President for Public Relations and Communication. I am very, very excited. Again, my motivation is very high. And I just wanted to say that I'm very grateful for all the experiences that I had in IFMSA and all the people that I have met and that were part of my journey. I have learned something from every one of you. And sincerely, I really can't wait to answer your questions. And yeah.
Thank you. And then we have Noor Asaf from LIMSIC Lebanon.
Hello, everyone. My name is Noor, a final year medical student from LIMSIC Lebanon and a candidate for the position of Vice President for PR and Communication. My PRC journey began in my NMO, and here I am 4 years later as part of the PRC IT as DA for the second year and a candidate for an EB position. This moment is the realization of a lifelong dream that I've had to join IFMSA and work for this federation that has made a tangible change and difference in the world. This federation that has brought you all here today and united you as one. And this federation that has shaped the person, the woman, the leader that I am today. I'm grateful for this opportunity. And I really hope that you can see from my candidature this reflection of the commitment that I've ever had for the PRC division and the expertise that I have in the field, but most importantly, the revolutionary vision that I have for the work that comes ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Noor. And then we'll go to the questions part. So first we have a question that was asked to all of the candidates. So we'll go through the same order, and then you will be all going to ask this question. So the question is, as a candidate, what do you anticipate will be the most significant challenges you will face during your term if elected? And what strategies do you have in place to address these challenges and ensure that you can effectively fulfill your duties and responsibilities to your constituents? Okay, Mahmoud, you can go first.
Okay, thank you so much for your question. I think one of the major challenges we will have to anticipate is the plethora of goals, or the plethora also of areas that there is an IFMSA to improve on, whether in the strategy or also whether in the visions each and every one of the candidates have presented. I think this will be very important for the EB, first and foremost, before coming to the team of officials, to design a concrete vision on how to prioritize and how to select out of these, let's say, areas of action, areas of priority, in order to be efficient in terms of our planning, in terms of our actions, and to utilize our resources to the maximum level possible, where we can achieve efficient outcomes out of the plans we develop, while also addressing and improving on the structures and the gaps in the federation. Over, back to you, Masad.
Thank you, Mahmoud. And then Mikula, you can go.
Okay, thank you. So from the position of VPA, I think there will be two major challenges. So the first one will be really to finalize the reforms within programs, and by that ensuring that all NMOs in all regions feel equally able to enroll before the activities, so that we are able to help them, we are able to know their efforts and their needs, and also that the division of programs, division of activities in IFMSA will be able to deliver the data we need for any external approaches. So I think this is going to be a point of collaboration with multiple members of the EB, and obviously a big challenge for the team that I'm going to assemble. And for the executive board as a whole, with my great part in it, will be like ensuring stability in terms of our situation in Denmark, and it also involves the secretariat, involves also the bank situation. And I think that's the challenge and the task that we need to have in mind as the future EB, we would have as a future EB, is to keep NMOs fully informed of what's happening and involve the NMOs in decision making, so that everyone knows where we stand and what's the way forward in all those situations. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Fer.
So I think the situation that we have now regarding secretary is not that much stable. So we need to end this and like do it in a more sustainable way. So I think either if we go through the replacement this term or we continue that next term, this is something that may affect the VPA job a lot next term. So I think this is one of the main challenges. And also, as Miko Y mentioned, IFMSA programs, and let's say how we want to do, how we can provide more equity in it, and like help animals would be another challenge, because although like the solution is like may seems obvious, but at the end of the day we have lots of animals, so empower all of them would be something that we really need to work on.
Okay, thank you. Hannah. You don't have to close the mic.
Well, thank you for your question. As someone who has been in the National AB for 2 years, what I learned is that one of the most important things is to have a good team, to have trust in your the other members of the executive board. And I think that at the end of the day, it's important to keep in mind that the executive board, even though it's 7 people, it should act as one body. So one of the most important things, which can also be one of the biggest challenges, is establishing a good team dynamic, but not also within the executive board, also with international team and standing committee directors. So what I think one of the solution is to start the term by establishing ways of communication, establishing honest, transparent, two-way communication, and have a regular checkups and regular meetings, and work constantly on establishing better team dynamics and establishing trust. And regarding the other challenge I see is work on a regional level, in a way that we have 5 regions which have different needs and are currently on a different levels in different areas. And I would tackle that by collaborating mostly on a regional level, so with regional directors and assistants. Also, as speaking from the CB position, it would be important for me to create opportunities
Okay,
for.
thank you, Hannah. Okay. Then we have Asadur Rahman.
Thank you so much for your question. Firstly, I would like to actually divide this question into 2 parts. First one would be for the EBTO, and next one will be for the CBIT. So for the EBTO, I believe the most important thing will be the workload and how to manage their mental health. So how will I address this? Number 1 would be distribution of work, creating a healthy working environment, having a good team dynamic. If these 3 things can be done, I believe that the working environment will be really good. And then how to ensure their mental health. For mental health, we have the mental health framework SWG going on. So the recommendations from them, and also to have mental health checkups every now and then, this will ensure that their mental health is actually improved. And then for the CBIT, number 1, the most important challenge I believe is members engagement. We can address this simply through inter-regional collaborations where different NMOs with different levels of capacity building can work together and find solutions to the problems they have regarding capacity building. Other than that, I would also include NMO. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Then we have Melike.
Okay. Regarding the challenges that we can face, I would also believe establishing the team dynamics as also engaging with our members would be the main challenges that we can face. For the members engagement, we will provide assistance with our CBRAs. We will be there for all of the regions to understand what is expected from our NMOs, share all of the opportunities from the beginning till the end. For the establishment of the team dynamics, I would also say I will ensure the safe and mental health friendly environment within the both teams that I will be included. I also plan to implement or have a coordination meeting for the CBIT from the beginning of the term to help our handover and establishment process, break the ice and get to work as much as be possible.
Okay, thank you. And then we go with Joanna.
Thank you so much. I believe that the biggest challenge for the next term is the reform of our structures, the reform of the structure of our incomes expenses, due to the fact that right now we're facing so many external factors that have impact on our expenses. How we can tackle this challenge in general? I would like to work on the previous data to find where we spend exactly that money, and also working on the fundraising strategy, applying for the grants. And also, I believe that the key for the sustainable finances of our federation is the regular approach to managing our finances on the daily basis. How I would like to fulfill these duties, basically by this regular approach, regular meetings with fundraising team and finance society, collaboration with the VP EV and VPRC.
Thank you. And then we'll go with Zoe.
Okay, and thank you so much for that very important question. So I think the main challenge, what I've learned from working with other EBs is that it's a lot of work. And I think the main challenge will be taking care of the workloads while also managing our mental health. How I would work on that is I'm very lucky that my university is very flexible. So I've got lots of times off and I got a lot of time to dedicate to this. I think it's really important to work on the team dynamics, as Hannah said, by regularly checking in with each other. and things like that. Specifically to membership, I think the biggest issue is the representation barriers that our members face. In regards to that, I would like to work on translation of manuals, also the visa manual updates and other things I mentioned before. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Angelo?
Okay. I think that I anticipate the biggest challenge of the BPM will be the time or the period around the General Assemblies, as the BPM has a lot of responsibilities during the GA. Some of them you can see them, like organizing the president sessions, creating some reports, coordinating the RDs for the creation of reports and helping them in the regional sessions. And also you don't see them like creation of a safe environment for NMOs and always being there for the NMOs. So the biggest challenge will be to setting a great timeline with specific responsibilities and specific people to ensure a smooth execution of the president sessions and all the related BPM things around the General Assemblies, because it is a lot of work and it requires experience and planning to be successful in all the responsibilities of the BPM around this time.
Okay, thank you. And then Ana Maria?
Okay, so when it comes to challenges, I would like to address two pillars. So first of all, it's the leadership. And when I talk about leadership, I mean leadership within the EBTO. And for this, I envision a healthy working environment with clear communication, especially when we have a common assistance, for example, with standing committee directors, because there are standing committee PR and communication assistants, and also with the regional assistants. So I would like to discuss with them our ways of communication from the start of the term and our boundaries. And also within the EB, I would also like to have a safe space and for us to express us clearly. And then when it comes to the main work of the VPPRC and the PRCIT, I think it is very important to follow the strategy, the IFMSA strategy that is now active. And first of all, I would like to work on the reform of the campaigns and develop outcome-based campaigns. And also, I think it is very important to also work on the exchanges database. The exchanges are one of our main our main activities within IFMSA. So I think it is very important to have a clear communication with the SCOPI director and SCORI director, as well with our IT company, to see how we can fix the bugs and have the exchanges database finally bug free.
Okay, thank you. And then Noor?
Thank you. So I believe that one of the main challenges is the fact that I will be part of the EB, but as well as part of the TO. And I've been there when I was VPPRC nationally. I know it can be very challenging. Also being a leader of the PRC IT, which is now, after the restructure, one of the biggest ITs in IFMSA. And also being a part of, being the contact person with many NMOs. Each of these entities is, being part of each of one of them is very challenging. So trying to being part of all of them at the same time would also be challenging. What I will do is basically invest in good time management. I will be graduating in a couple of months and I want to have clinical rotations next year. Good dynamics to make it feel like home. Good communication skills. I will always be advocating for this. And also the fact that using my expertise in the PRCIT, the fact that I was there, I was part of, I was a core part of the restructure that happened to keep what my predecessors have done and keep it going. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Noor. And then we'll be going to select some questions that are directly asked to each candidate. Okay, first, there is a question for Mahmoud Al-Hamoudi. How do you plan using the NMO report as a tool? And the data collection framework that you mentioned is something different? And the question is already on the chat as well.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. So this is a very important question, and I will start from the data collection tool. or framework, let's say. Data collection in IFMSA, as much as we have invested in it, as much as we do it, it's not necessarily that we have mastered it. And it's not always that we use or collect data efficiently. This is something that is very important. We establish a solid ground basis for it in terms of defining how do we collect data, why do we collect data, and what kind of methodologies. And building the capacities of the team of official members, but also our ITs in order to collect data efficiently and utilize them efficiently. Now, this is a collaborative effort. This is the president doing it with the VPA because this is the main body responsible for data collection. And specifically for the NMO report, throughout the elect period, I aim to guide the EB in utilizing this for the gathering of the voice of NMOs in order to shape our plans, and throughout the term to utilize it to drive forward our vision, and also to get continuous feedback from the NMOs in shaping and developing our plans overall.
Okay, and then we have a question for Fer, the VPA candidate. So could you please elaborate more on what you consider that are the problems with the Secretariat and what can be better improved in the short and also long term?
Okay, so what we are facing now is replacements and all the things that I think you already, like the current EB already explained about how they want to proceed that. So as soon as we move to another country, first we need to understand which country and why, because at the end of the day, we are medical students, not professionals in, I don't know, we are not lawyers and so on. So first we need to, if we go through replacement, we need to consider all these and like consult with professional bodies. Another thing when it comes next is documentation of all the reports, and we need to keep it for future, what we did that and how challenges face. So this is one of the things. Another thing is that we are exploring the idea of expansion for a long time, at least as far as I remember, for 3 years. So
okay, thank you. And then I have a question from Mikula. What would be the specific tasks of the new position you want to create, programs community assistant, and how to better justify its creation?
Am I audible? Okay, perfect. So basically, this term as the programs GA, I noticed that the tasks relating to programs promotion, relating to creating campaigns, promoting activities, promoting all the resources, like it fell kind of on all of the members of the core team, somehow on the program coordinator as well. And it's not like we, especially that within our task description, there is like the need for good Canvas skills, good PRC skills. And I think that in order to facilitate a good programs promotion, to increase our visibility, we need someone exactly with those skills, someone who can design a campaign, who can collaborate with the rest of the team in order to ensure that the programs are promoted, because ultimately, our success as IFMSA programs depends on our visibility across the regions, across the standing committees.
Okay,
so I think, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Then we have a question for Ioanna for the VPF. Thank you so much for your candidature. The inflation has been massive during the last years around the globe, yet GA registration fees haven't been modified for 10 years. So the cost of hosting a GA has increased massively, but the registration fees haven't changed with it. That's one of the biggest threats to our meeting sustainability. What's your plan of action to change that?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Regarding the registration fee, I'm aware that they haven't changed in so many years. How we tackle this problem in general, when you see the structure of the proposed GA hosting budgets, we see that there are so many parts which can be we see the diverse parts of this budget, and one of these parts is mostly the fundraising and sponsorships. In general, it would be the easiest way to decrease the registration fees. How we can tackle this? First of all, cooperating with the OC, that getting the information that, for example, in that exact country, there is a possibility for the decreasing the tax for the parties who would like to donate our regional meetings and GAs. Also, on the other hand, I believe that we can use IFMSA credibility to find another partners which would like to contribute also to our social program, which also it is a great burden on the GA budget. Also, I believe that it can be.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we have a question for both candidates for VPPRC. The question is, how will you ensure that all third-party vendors and partners who handle personal data on behalf of our organization are also compliant with GDPR regulations? And what procedures are in place to quickly identify and remediate any breaches or incidents that may occur? So Noor, you can go first.
All right, so for the first part of the question, ensuring that the third-party vendors and partners handling personal data are compliant, they need to really understand our privacy policies, which need to be updated. And also, we have to pay attention to the fact that when third parties are involved, they should really not just understand what we do in GDPR, understand that we should be aware of any any way of using the data, because we have to check that it is compliant with our regulations. And basically what I mean by that is how to store them, until when to store them, because they have a specific deadline after which we should cancel them, we should delete them. Other than that, the procedures that are in place to identify and remediate any breaches. So it's basically related to how we handle in the IT, in the PRC IT GDPR. It goes through the VPPRC, and as I mentioned 2 days ago, I want to consider having a data protection officer, to really organize things more and more and make the process more efficient, because there are ways to make it better.
Okay, thank you, Noor. Ana Maria.
Thank you so much for the question. I also mentioned in my candidature that the privacy policy needs to be updated. Moreover, for our external partners that are also handling the data, I would also envision a close collaboration with the VPE that is usually the one communicating and in charge of communicating with our externals, so that we are sure that they understand exactly our privacy policy and what are the consequences if the data is stored more than it should be. And I will make sure that they understand this, and also to identify, remediate any breaches. I think this, for adding more to what Noor said, I also envision a close collaboration to SAPCO in case something like this happens, so that
Okay, thank you. And then we have a question for the VPCB candidates, question for all candidates. How are you going to increase engagement with the CB plenary and the general awareness of the IOGs? So Melike can go first.
Okay. Okay, regarding the engagement to the CB plenary and general awareness of the IOGs, I remember the time that we couldn't meet the quorum during the last March meeting, last term, yeah. So to increase the awareness and the member engagement, it is quite important to promote, of course, like not only during the GAs, before the GAs, maybe like with a proper communication with head of delegations, or like the parties that are involved in the CB, the people who are attending NMO management sessions, for example, and the CB IOGs. It is also a really like important thing to be aware of the aware of our IOGs, our regulations, our baselines. So
okay, thank you. Asadur Rahman.
Thank you so much for the question. So this year, I would say that the awareness has increased a lot, because more than 50% of the designated CB representatives were present in the CB IOG discussions this year. So I believe that this has improved a lot. But yes, this needs further improvement. And how we can do that is, number one, again, having the specific discussions that is already going on. Other than that, we can have extensive level of promotion towards the CBIOGs in case of pre-GAs, in pre-RMs, in the NMO management sessions, in the GAs, before the GAs, during SRTs, having a mandatory part in the SRTs, in specific CB workshops. If all of these things can be done, then I believe that CBIOGs will be promoted and people will be interested to learn more about CB and CBIOGs. And lastly, I would say that we can also create a small infographics so that everyone can navigate through the CBIOG better and they're not overwhelmed or scared what is in this document. So if we can do all of these things, then I believe that it will be very much easy to increase engagement towards CB plenary and also to increase general awareness. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hannah?
Okay, is it okay? It's working. So regarding this question, what I think it's the best approach is to focus on national EPCBs or CB representatives. One of the things I plan to do is put focus on a smaller scale and go and engage more through regional work and through regional assistance, because I feel that regional assistants are people that are in constant connection with CBIT, but also with the CB representatives. And they are the people that CB reps have trust and work with very closely. And besides that, I think it's important that not to talk about CBIOGs just a month before a GA. It's something that needs to be constantly mentioned and constantly brought.
Okay, thank you. And then I have questions for both VPM candidates. What's your opinion on associates gaining voting rights? And if any, what are your plans and timeline in restructuring the current IFMSA membership system? Okay, so Angelo, you can go first.
Okay, thank you for the question. What's my opinion about associate members getting voting rights? I think that in this case, the VPM shouldn't have a strong opinion, but more be a catalyzer of the discussion and supporter of the discussion of the NMOs to decide on this. I think that the VPM shouldn't have a strong stance on this, but be there for the NMOs too. Help to discuss this, creating groups, first of all, focal groups with the associate members to understand what are their thoughts about, then open space discussion between all the members of the federation so the associate members can present their point of view. Then in the president sessions, discuss it and have like with different perspectives, mixing members from different regions. And then after all this process of brainstorming, still creating these spaces to reach conclusions or to reach plans forward. I think that I will be more focused on creating these spaces for the NMOs and always being there in case an associate member want to raise their voice or they don't know how to do it. I will do it.
Thank you, Angelo. Zoe?
Okay, and thank you so much for this question. So I do think this is super important. I think the first thing we have to do is talk to the associate members about what their plans are. I remember with all the BCPs in August meeting at the Impulse, I think we have to see how they want to proceed with that. I think we have to look at, I think after August meeting, we decided on some stuff that had to be done. I thought there were going to be consultations with external partners to see how it worked for them. I want to follow up on if this work has been done, the outcomes of this. I think then indeed we have to like have open space discussions, see what the animals think about it, and from there on continue. But it is indeed something that's up to the members and not up to the VPM to decide, I think. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll be having a second round of questions. We'll be starting with the VPA candidates. Okay, the question is, how familiar are you with the work of the Secretariat and how do you imagine its reform?
Could you say the last words again? Okay, imagine it's reform. Well, first of all, I've worked within my NMO, I've worked in NMO management, I've worked in the local and national supervising council where I produced a lot and controlled the documentation of my national member organization. In terms of like the within the handover, the secretariat will be the priority because like the programs are already my main place of work. And when it comes to the reform, I will take a very steady and safe approach. Obviously, that's part of our strategy, but I believe that ultimately we need to take very serious and very cautious steps whenever we make any decisions about the future of our secretariat, including the location of our secretariat. I think that within my term, we will still, at the end of my term, we will still be at the same place where we are today in terms of our location. And the reform will include, obviously, the voices from the executive board, from the NMOs, because I want to involve everyone. Plus, I want to increase the knowledge about the secretariat.
Okay, thank you.
Among the national secretariats. Thank you.
Per?
Okay, so starting from the point of administrative job and like working closely with this kind of a stuff, I can say like, okay, as a LC president, NMO president, and like let's say some other administrative work like GA in IFMSA, I'm aware of like administrative job, but like by being involved highly in IFMSA in last I guess at least 3-4 years, I always heard about the updates and what are the top hot topics that we are discussing. So this is another point that we always hear about in GAs, in TO meeting as an observer and this kind of stuff. But before preparing my candidature, I think I went through reviewing the work condition and all the barriers that we now facing in the market. And for example,
thank you. And then we have a question for both the VPPRC candidates. What do you think of the current state of the MSI and how do you envision it way forward? Okay, Anna Maria can go first.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. As we know, the MSI was not published for this GA. The IFMSA is biannual magazine. What I envision, first of all, when it comes to the call for the editors and the articles, I expect to have a regional and gender representation. And I also envision it being aligned with our global priorities. I would envision also a campaign being done so that we can promote the call for editors and for articles. And also, I would really love to collaborate with the VPE so that we can share it with our external partners, especially with the ones that we share that work on the same issues that we have, the global priorities.
Noor?
So 4 years ago, I was part of the team working on MSI. I remember meeting with the VPPRC and the GA back then. They had statistics of old versions, and we realized we were facing a problem, which is the decrease in its visibility. I think we all agree that we're still facing the same issue because we didn't have any MSI published in the past 2 terms. Whose fault is this? No one. It's simply because of how the definition of content is evolving with time, with the updates happening. So I really think it's very important to consider a change that might involve the format, but also the content. It's very important to ask you, NMOs, what you want to see because you are our audience, you are the people reading. Your attention span based on PRC statistics has decreased, and you'd rather watch videos are trending, you'd rather watch videos about things rather than reading long documents. So there should be, to be informed about a specific topic, there should be a change, and this needs consultation with current MPs, VPPRCs, as well as NMOs to ask you what you want to read about and see.
Thank you. So now we have a question for both VPM candidates. How do you plan on reaching out to organizations that are not yet members? Zoe?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. So For organizations that are not yet members, so in new countries, I think we really have to make use of the neighboring countries. There are probably the people who have connections in the country. And on the other side, also like with the regional directors, they're the ones who are going to be in closer contact with people within the region. Yeah, so with the neighboring countries thing, I think you can make use of students who are studying abroad and hopefully establish contact through that way. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Angelo?
Okay. How to reach out organizations that are not yet members. Based on my experience as regional director, sometimes it's complicated because you don't know what structures exist in different countries. However, it's always a great tool to talk with countries that are cultural or language related to them, because they know more than you, especially neighboring countries, so they can give you more information, even contacts. Then through the RDs and the regional teams, each RD usually has a specific person that helps them in talking with countries and setting plans. So talking with them and also train them or giving them opportunities, just probably a small meetings just to let them know how to talk with them.
Okay, and then we have a question for VPCB candidates. What are you planning to do about the lost past certificates and the certification process for the future? Okay, Hannah.
Okay, thank you for a question. As you may be aware, currently we are working on backtracking the work a couple of terms ago, since there were no certificates issued. And we developed a tracking sheet. We are working with the other international teams on making sure that all workshops and all SRTs are properly certificated, and that all participants are certificate. Hopefully that process will be finished or mostly finished by the end of the term. And after that, my plan is to analyze what was being done in the sense of certification, and which steps could be made to make the process.
Okay, thank you. Asadur Rahman, you can go.
Thank you so much for the question. Firstly, I would like to say that I am directly involved in the process, because as the CBG and the CBDA, we are actually the ones who actually compile the SRT reports to find out the certificates which are not issued and sent it to our VPCB. So as mentioned in the EB reports by Arya, that there was a question regarding this, and she clearly mentioned that they are the EB together are trying to actually mitigate the issue and get most of the certificates issued by the end of this term. And also that they are going to give us a follow-up plan and a plan for the future and EBs to actually mitigate and solve the process. So I would like to echo on what our VPCB has said, that we will follow up on the things that she has mentioned, and also work with the NMOs to find easier ways. We have Moodle, the online training platform. It has automated certification methods. So if we can use that somehow to create certificates, it will actually reduce the workload on ourselves a lot.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
Melika?
Okay, first of all, thank you for the question. I was also familiar with the process as I was involved in the CBIT last term as a CBRA. So what I would do for the lost pass certificates, the current CBIT has already started the process of like issuing the certificates for the past SRTs and all the all capacity building related initiatives. What I would do is like empowering our CBRAs, our CB representatives, with giving them space, with using the space like both online and in person, and in giving importance, like giving the
Thank you. Okay, and then we have a question for Joanna for the VPF. Has a reduction in the membership fee for associate members to compensate for the lack of voting rights being considered?
Thank you so much for that question. Regarding the membership fee, as I'm aware, this is a more complex issue due to the fact that many animals are struggling with the membership fee right now. And also about the associates who need to pay this membership fee, I believe that it needs further consultation also with the vice president for members. And also in general, it's really hard to say right now how it would be looking the future terms, as we are now consulting on the membership reform. And I believe that many changes are going to come in the next terms. So in general, I believe there would be a space for a great discussion for that and possibility for reducing that.
Okay, no worries, thank you. Then we have a question for the candidate for president, Mahmoud. How do you plan to improve handovers?
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for the question. There are two parts to it. So there is the human part of the handover, which is the transfer of the knowledge between the two people in the position. The outgoing.
Do we have silence in the room, please? Okay, Mahmoud, you can go.
Thank you, Masood. So there are two components of the handover. One is the humanly component, which is the interaction or transfer of knowledge between one person to the other, from the outgoing to the incoming. And then we need to establish a static factor for the handover. Now, in the previous series, we have dependent on documents, handover reports as static factors. However, having the online training platform and exploiting what benefits this platform has, I think it comes with a great potential to utilize it for handover, documenting the handover tools, and the handover information in a proper manner across the years to ensure that this static part of the handover is covered. As for the dynamic part of the handover, this is something that we will need to coordinate closely with the outgoing EB in order to follow up on the handover from both sides with the two TOs. Try to establish clear checklists or clear also guidelines on the provision of handover.
Thank you, Mahmoud. Okay, and by this we conclude the questions part. We'll give the floor to the candidates to give a 1-minute closing speech. We'll be starting with the candidates for VPPRC. Noor, you can start first.
So after a long journey that has involved 5 different PRC positions, and having been an essential part of the restructure that our division has witnessed, I believe that I am ready like never before to lead the PRC IT and take over and lead our revolution after my mentors and predecessors. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ana Maria.
So first of all, thank you all so much for giving me the chance and to candidate again. I have been through amazing experiences in IFMSA, from, as I said previously, SCORA General Delegate in my first GA to the Vice President for International Affairs in FASIMER Romania, from SCOR PRCA to SCOR Director. I have learned a lot of lessons and I'm ready to learn even more. I'm ready to get out of my comfort zone. I really like it. I'm ready to learn even more things, and I'm excited to work with all of you in the future. Thank you so much. And I pledge that if I get the position, I will take full responsibility. And I'm ready to commit to whatever tasks the VPPRC will have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then Angelo.
Okay. I am sure that after these 5 years, during these 5 years, I have been collecting the experience, the knowledge, the skills, and the relations necessary to lead the VPM position, since the national to the regional and even to the global level in all the positions that I have shared to you. I invite you everyone to read my candidature so you can learn more about the communication plan, management of data, accessibility, the regional support, and the inclusive part that I have planned for the NMOs. And finally, I believe that in being more inclusive in leadership, it will be essential for our IFMSA to represent the diversity of our members. Finally, thank you for listening to me, for watching my video, my candidatures, and I will be here for more questions if you have more. And also thank you for all the candidates for this amazing late show.
Thank you. Zoe?
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, for asking all your questions, and for listening. I am, as everyone said, like very lucky and happy for all the experiences I had through IFMSA, for what I'm doing now. And I'm super excited for what comes in the future, no matter what happens. Yeah, and I want to wish the best of luck to all the other candidates, and see you this evening.
Okay, thank you. And then we have Viona.
Thank you so much for all of your questions. It was a really interesting experience. I believe that today we decide on the future of our federation, and this is crucial to make everything that we can do to find solution for the current challenges. And I believe that the future term will change a lot of things, also not only from the animals, but also for as a candidates and the future TO EB. And I believe that we can find in the next term us as a greater organization with the further perspective and much opportunities that we have right now. Thank you so much for your attention.
Okay, thank you. And then for the VPCB candidates, Melike can go.
Okay, for me, it was an indispensable experience standing in front of all of you here. I could have never imagined that I would run for such a kind of important position. From the first time that I involved in IFMSA, I involved in different teams, met different people around the world, and learned the importance of transferring the knowledge. And yeah, and so I'm ready to learn from all of you and transfer my skills, expertise, and knowledge for the BPCB position. And I wish you the best of luck for all the candidates here. And thank you.
Okay, thank you. Asadur Rahman.
Thank you so much. It was not so long ago that I had my first CB session with 17 participants, scared how I will do. After years of my journey with capacity building, with 160 plus hours of facilitation, and after 2 terms with the CBIT, I feel confident. I have grown as an individual and as a leader. I know my stuff about capacity building. I'd like to thank all of my friends who have supported me throughout my journey within IFMSA. And without their support, I would have never been here showing the confidence to give out my candidature for IFMSA Vice President for Capacity Building. If elected, I promise to be available for all my EB and TO members and for my DRNMOs. CB is and always will be my passion, whatever happens. I want to continue my journey with IFMSA and with CB. I want to work with you and for you. If you still have any questions, you can always reach out to me. And best of luck to all candidates. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Then Hannah.
Thank you. Few days ago, when I was preparing for my presentation, my friend kind of joked that I should start by asking people in the plenary room to raise their hands if they were my trainees or in one of my sessions. And well, it started as a joke, but I remember that I realized at that moment that the number of hands would be quite significant, and then a lot of those people are now in international teams, in the plenary team, in their actively in working in the NMOs. And it also made me realize that this is the reason why I'm here, why I'm doing all that I'm doing, and it's what makes me happy, and what hopefully will make me going in the next term as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then for the candidates for VPA, Fer.
So I think all of us tried our best to cover as much as topics that we could in last 2 days. But due to time limitation, of course, we cannot cover everything. So, it's totally understandable, but I want to encourage everyone to go through candidatures one more time and make the decision that is best for the federation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mikula?
I'd like to use this minute to thank some individuals. So first of all, I'd like to thank my fantastic NMO who have been the best cheerleading and support team ever. So thank you guys. Also, I would like to thank all the NMOs, all the NMO presidents, all the general delegates who've been talking to me during this week. I think that after this General Assembly, I understand your needs even better. And yeah. Also, I would like to thank all the candidates for a very fair race, including my opponents, who I admire greatly, who's a great team leader and my personal friends. And yeah, I hope that you will enjoy the rest of the GA and we'll meet later today. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Last but not least, we're going with the candidate for the president, Mahmoud Al-Hamoudi.
Thank you so much, Mr. Once again. I believe that IFMSA is a very strong platform for development and change. Yet I also believe that there is a lot and a huge room for growth and improvement to become even more powerful, to become the groundbreaking and leading IFMSA, leading organization we are as IFMSA. I commit to drive this growth and empowerment further while upholding IFMSA as a safe and transformative space for its members, for medical students, while cherishing the vision of driving positive change in the communities we live in. I wish I could have been there with you in Estonia. Unfortunately not, but I hope to see you all very soon. Thank you so much for all the questions and all the engagement throughout the past days and throughout the past years as well. Wishing you all the very best. Over, back to you as well.
Okay, thank you very much. And by this, we conclude the EB debate. Let's give these candidates a huge round of applause.